Hi there, friends. It's episode 3, and I'm in the desert. In my last episode, I mentioned that I was going to build a villager hotel, and I've been thinking about what material I want to use to build it out of. And I want to keep it another light color, but I don't want it to be exactly the same as the house that I built in episode 1, so I don't want to use snow and wool, diorite. I would like to keep it light, but go with something different, and I think I want to do sandstone, because I want something that is easy to acquire early game, since I still haven't even visited the Nether, I haven't visited the End. So I hopped on my horse, took off riding until I found this desert, and I am going to gather as much sand and as much sandstone as I am able to carry. I also, on my way here, noticed that there was a village over here, so before I get started with gathering sand and sandstone, I'm going to come see what this village has to offer. Alright, so first thing, rolling into town. This is a busy town, lots of cats, and it looks like the cats have recently killed some rabbits here, which is actually pretty exciting for me. Oh, what are you doing? Why would you do that? That was not a smart thing to do. Alright, you stay right there. You stay out of trouble. As I was saying, it's pretty cool that I got this raw rabbit and rabbit hide. If anyone recalls from episode 1, I am making every attempt possible to not intentionally kill any friendly mobs. Therefore, I don't have an easy way currently to acquire leather. Since I'm not killing cows and I'm not killing rabbits intentionally, I have no way to get their leather. And therefore, until I go to the Nether when I can start killing the hoglins, I don't have a very easy source of leather. But walking into this village, these cats had killed a few rabbits, which gives me rabbit hides, and rabbit hides, if I get 4 of them, can be converted into leather. So that's a little bit of a workaround. There really are quite a lot of cats in this village. So I'm not going to lead rabbits in here to their death, because that would essentially be the same as killing them. But if I happen to stumble across a fresh kill and I can take the hide and the meat, then I'm not going to pass it up. But let's see what all this village has to offer. Alright, first chest that I had looked at, we've got some cactus and some wheat. So nothing particularly exciting. This one also cactus, wheat, and bread. Also not particularly exciting. And that looks like all that this village has to offer. Now another mistake that I made, you may have noticed a second ago when I was talking about the rabbits. My inventory is almost full. I did harvest a little bit of sand and sandstone already. But I did not think to clear my inventory before traveling 3,000 blocks to this desert. So I don't have much inventory to even be able to take that much back with me, which is not very smart on my part. But oh well. I am going to plop down a chest right here. Oh, and would you look at that? There's also a coral ocean right next to me. I have cleared up some inventory space just by dumping stuff in a chest here, but that's not really going to help me to get it back to my base that is 3,000 blocks away, but at least now I have inventory space to start accumulating some sand. Oh no, and I'm going to get rid of these cactuses because I keep accidentally riding my horse into them, and I don't want to do that to my poor sweet horse. And so, with my inventory space cleared up, I decided it was time to get to work digging up some sand. I have got a decent amount of sand here. My inventory's pretty much full. I still got a bunch of stuff in a chest back there. But I think what I'm going to do is leash up this camel, and I am going to see if I can get this camel back to my base. Along the way, I'm also going to see if I can find a donkey or a mule, because I can strap those up with a chest and bring it with me on the next trip. That way I can have more space to carry more stuff back home with me. I'm pretty sure on my way here at some point I actually saw some donkeys, so I'll keep an eye out for those on my way back home, and if I see one, I will go ahead and tame that and take it. So that's my goal for right now. I'm going to head back home with my camel, hopefully find a donkey, and then return to the desert later to get even more sand and sandstone. Great news. I figured out how to tame the camel, and I've been riding it. The reason that I did that is because the camel cannot keep up with the horse, but the horse can keep up with the camel. So I am riding the camel while keeping the horse on a leash. And then right over this hill, I saw a donkey. And we're not too far from home at this point. As you can see by my coordinates, I'm at 1200 by negative 3500, and home is at 1800 by negative 4000. So we are not too far at all. I'm just going to come right over here, and I'm going to leash you up. Come this way, my friend. And I am keeping it on this view so that I can pay attention to the leads to see if a lead snaps. It'll be an easy way to monitor that. If one of the leads breaks, then I'll know it pretty easily. And I'm pretty sure that my base is right over that big mountain there, so I'm pretty close. A baby zombie, no! And there it is. There's my base. I made it back with my camel and my donkey. We are safe, we are sound, and we are in a thunderstorm. Alright, I'm back home. I tamed up the donkey, and then I've got the camel in the fenced-in area over here. So, I would call that a success. It took a little while to get them all back home on a lead in a way that they didn't all get away from me. I don't feel like using any golden carrots or golden apples just yet, so I'm not going to make a mule, but I'm happy that I have a donkey. And let me grab some chests here. And there we go. I now have a donkey with a chest. I can start storing stuff. Very cool. So I'm going to clean up my inventory yet again, drop off all the excess stuff that I don't need, and head back to the desert. All right, we made it back to the desert village. I have my donkey with the chest. There are cats all around again. Sadly, this time I did not find any rabbit hides, but that's okay. And now that I'm here, I've got my own inventory space, plus I've got the donkey's inventory space. It is time to gather a whole lot of sand. All right, a little while later, I've got cats screaming at me from all around, but my inventory is pretty much full of sand. The donkey's inventory is full. I want to make sure I bring these items with me. I made a few extra pickaxes that I ended up not using. I am getting ready to head home, but I actually thought before I head home, since I'm here in the desert, and this is my first time really being in the desert, I want to do just a little bit of exploring and see if I can find a desert temple. I don't have a ton of inventory. Well, I don't have any inventory space, but maybe if I find one and it's got something really worthwhile, I can just leave some sand behind to grab, whatever it might have. So I'm just going to spend some time roaming through the desert on my donkey, see if I find a desert temple and see if it's got anything worth taking. And then after that, I'm going to head home with my inventory full of sand. So I am getting near the edge of the desert here, and I just noticed something. I've never seen this before. I think I found a desert temple, but it is buried beneath the sand. So if I zoom out, it's completely buried underneath here, and almost wouldn't even know of its existence if not for this little bit right here with the orange terracotta. So I'm going to make my way over here. Also, in the real world right now, there is a thunderstorm going on around my house. I don't know if the mic's going to pick up on that or not, but if you happen to hear the sounds of thunder, that is because in the real world, there is a thunderstorm going on right outside of my house. So let me dig in and get to the bottom of this and see what this has got to offer. And I just realized I have not been using shader packs this whole time, so I just turned my shaders on. So I apologize for anyone watching, and the view was not the typical view that you're used to, so I got that fixed. Oh no. Oh, I thought that block falling on that was going to trigger the pressure plate. Okay, there we go. Okay, pressure plate is deactivated. Now let's get down and get all this TNT. So now let's check all these chests. I did a touch of inventory management and managed to get 2 saddles. I got an enchanted book with Riptide 3, and then I picked up a few gold ingots, some TNT that was underneath here. I got some gunpowder, some golden apples, and some of the cut sandstone. So overall, not a bad haul for a desert temple. I'm gonna start making my way back the direction of home. I am now back at home, and I decided to stop and grab some llamas while I was riding back, just because the opportunity was there. I saw some llamas, I wasn't far from home, and I had the leads, so I figured while I was there, I might as well grab them. It is raining here at the base now, but me and my donkey have made it back, and I have come to a very unfortunate realization. While I was in the desert, I was collecting sand because I'm going to be using actually smooth sandstone for my build. And to make smooth sandstone, as you may or may not know, you just smelt sandstone. So if I run down here, grab some lava, if I smelt sandstone, then it will yield a smooth sandstone. And smooth sandstone is what I plan to use for this build. The only error in my judgment is I was under the impression that 4 pieces of sand would yield 4 sandstone, but that is not true. 4 sand only gives me 1 sandstone. So I spent all that time getting sand because I figured, I'd come back and just convert it all to sandstone. I figured it'd be a 1-for-1 conversion, and that is not true. I'm going to need a lot more sandstone than this. I am using a mod called Lightmatica, which some of you may be familiar with. I have not previously used it. I'm still learning how to use it, but I decided that with this build and with my cliff that I built over here, it was a little inefficient the way that I went about building it on the fly in survival mode. It took a long time, and I had to go back and rearrange a lot of stuff. It was very inefficient in terms of time and resources. My big concern is with being inefficient is that means that it will take longer to publish the videos. And I want to be able to get videos pushed out as quickly as possible. And to do that, I need to be as efficient as possible. So I'm going to use Lightmatica. And for those who are not familiar with Lightmatica, let me show you what it does. Really quick, I am going to hop over into a creative world to get started explaining this. All right, I am now in a creative copy of my world. So as you can see, got my house there. To demonstrate how Lightmatica works in this creative world, I'm just going to build something really quick. This isn't going to be anything fancy. All right, so let's say that I make this building that I think is really cool, and I want to make a copy of this. What I can do with Lightmatica is I use this stick as the tool. I'm going to click up here, and then I'm going to click down here. And now it has selected everything in this range. If I go to the Lightmatica management screen, I can click on the area editor and analyze the area. It shows me how many blocks are in this area. So if I do a bigger area, like let's come over here for example, everything in this box is selected. If I go to the area editor and analyze the area, this is every single item that is within this box right here. And I am using Lightmatica to help me build my hotel so that I can build it in creative mode, be much more efficient with my time, and then all I need to do is gather the resources, and with those resources, I can then build the hotel. That way I don't spend time harvesting unnecessary extra resources that I don't need. Plus the building is a lot faster when I build it in creative and then switch over to the survival world and then build the exact same thing in the survival world. So now I am back in my survival world, and this is the schematic that I saved and I imported. This is just an illusion, so I can walk right through this. This is not real. I can toggle this off, it goes away, toggle it on, and it's back. And it shows me what blocks need to be placed. I can place that, and it will then look normal. Let's say that I put the wrong block in a wrong place. If I put this there, it'll turn red, indicating that I put the wrong block there. So what I can do is build an entire structure. It'll show me all the materials that need to go into it. Then I can create a schematic in my creative world, bring it over here, and then paste the schematic and then build it that way. Much more efficient, and I think that'll allow me to, just be more efficient with my time. So I've actually already done that, and the problem that I was just describing a minute ago is in here, I only have this amount of sand and sandstone, and I've actually already built a hotel that I plan to use as my Solarpunk hotel, and it is going to need 75 full stacks of smooth sandstone. So to put that into perspective, 75 full stacks is almost 3 chests full, so a double chest plus 1 small chest. And I don't even have a double chest of sand yet, so I'm going to need a lot of smooth sandstone. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to make another trip to the desert. I think I might actually stop along the way to grab another donkey to put on a leash. That way I can have 2 donkeys with chests, and if I can find even more donkeys, that'd be better. But I think I'm going to try to just get a parade of donkeys that I can put chests on to help me carry as much sandstone back with me as possible. It's going to be quite an endeavor to get these 75 full stacks, but that's part of the fun, is the resource gathering, and especially early game like this. It can be tedious and monotonous at times, but it's also part of the charm and the allure of the early game, is the difficulty of resource management that can still be fun even though it's difficult. So as I ride out there, I'm gonna look for more donkeys, and I'm going to try to get as much sandstone as I'm able to carry back with as many donkeys as I am able to. As I was on my way back to the desert, I did stumble upon a little village here, so I'm going to find somewhere to hitch up my donkey and see if this village has anything to offer. And is that a donkey right over there? It is. Hey, donkey. You come with me. Well, that worked out well. So now I have 2 donkeys in my collection, and I'm just going to go ahead and look around and see if there's anything good in this village, and if I find anything, I'm going to take it, and I will check back in a little bit to let you know what I find. I didn't find much. I did manage to pick up an armadillo scoot that was just on the ground as I walked by, grabbed a couple cauldrons, and decided to grab the brown banners just because I'm going to be using some banners soon anyway, and I figured while they're here for free, I might as well grab them. I picked up some hay bales just so that when I get to the desert, if I need more bread, I can make it easily, and the yellow glazed terracotta because that'll be fun to build with. Other than that, I picked up an emerald and not really anything else worthwhile in this village, but I found my second donkey, so I'm excited about that. So I'm going to put a leash on you. I keep saying leash when I mean to say lead. They're basically the same thing, but at the same time they are different. So for those of you who are noticing me say leash and getting annoyed by it, I apologize. I'm trying to catch myself. I am back in a familiar place. I've returned to the desert village that has kind of become my base of operations out here in the desert. And I picked up 2 donkeys along the way. I got them tamed, I put some chests on them, and so that means each donkey has 15 spaces of inventory. 3 of them total gives me an additional 45 inventory space, and then I have 36 inventory space for myself. So that gives me a total of 81, and I need 75 stacks of smooth sandstone. And I want to make sure that I have room for all of the other stuff that I brought with me as well. So I'm going to do something that may be kind of dumb, but I'm going to go ahead and breed 2 of these donkeys so that I could have 1 more donkey for a total of 60 extra inventory space on top of my 36. So let's go ahead and leash you up, and later on, once you're grown up, I will go ahead and tame you, and I will put a chest in you as well. That way I can fill you all up with inventory of sandstone. I can have my own inventory of sandstone, and hopefully this will be my last trip out to the desert for quite a while. So let's get started digging up some sandstone. I have completely filled up my inventory with sandstone. I've completely filled up all 4 of my donkeys with sandstone. I'm having to leave a few things behind, but these are things that I'm not too worried about, if I'm being honest. I filled up my bundle, so I'm going to be able to take most of the important stuff. It only took me about 2 hours to get all of the sandstone. I kind of thought it was going to take longer, and I actually even had to stop at some point to do a iron run because I ran out of pickaxes and I ran out of iron, so had to take a break to refill my iron, but I managed to get all the iron that I needed. I managed to get all the sandstone that I needed, and now I've got 4 donkeys completely filled up with sandstone, and I'm just going to guide them back home. It's going to be a long journey trying to keep 4 donkeys from breaking the lead and running away, but I'll get back home and have all the sandstone that I need to continue with the next steps of my hotel. I gave up on trying to ride the donkey to get back home because when I was trying to ride one donkey and tow the others behind on a lead, inevitably leads would break. It was just too difficult, and I found it was easiest if I just walk with all of them on a lead behind me. It took a lot longer, but at long last I am back at my base with all 4 donkeys with me and all of their inventories filled up with sandstone, all of my inventory filled up with sandstone. It was a fun journey, but I am glad to be back and ready to get moving forward with the next phases of my hotel. Now that I'm back home and settled in, the next step is to turn all of this sandstone into smooth sandstone with the assistance of these smelters here. And since I picked up 2 more of these cauldrons while I was out, I went ahead and started the process of setting up more lava farms. Let me grab 2 buckets of lava really quick so that I can get these started on accumulating more lava. So we will put this right there, and this right there, and now that's dripping lava, and then same thing right here, and now this should start dripping lava. Perfect. So that brings my total up to 2, 4, 6, 7 cauldrons collecting lava so that I can use that lava to smelt this sandstone into smooth sandstone, but I also don't want to wait on these because that does take a little bit of time, and not too far from here over this direction where that second village is, there's a big pool of lava just over this mountain here, and just to kind of speed up the process, I'm going to hop on my horse with some buckets, run over and fill up buckets over there as well. And now that I'm back at my base and I've got more iron, I'm going to make a few more buckets. I think I'm going to make 1 full stack of buckets. Alright, so now I've got a full stack of buckets, and I'm actually going to sleep so that it is daytime. And I'm going to hop on my horse and ride over and fill all 16 of these buckets with lava. I am back home now with my 16 buckets of lava, and it is now time to begin the arduous task of converting all of this sandstone into smooth sandstone with my furnaces. Also, while it's on my mind, now's a good time to point out, some people may have noticed that I am now using a mod called Fresh Animations. It's one of my favorite mods. The only reason I wasn't previously using it before this episode is because they had not yet updated it to be compatible with Minecraft version 1.21.4, but I saw that they recently updated it. It is compatible now, so I went ahead and installed it, and it just adds some cute new animations to a lot of mobs. For example, the dogs sploot out like that. They're completely flat laying down rather than sitting or standing. Horses have new animations. The villagers have weird wobbly noses now. Let's see if I could see one. Will you wobble your nose? He's not doing. Oh, there it goes, right when I turned away. Of course, it figures. But yeah, the villagers have new animations. There it goes. And a lot of the mobs just have fun new animations that are kind of fun to see. So I installed that mod, the Fresh Animations mod, and if anyone happens to notice the mobs are moving in a little different ways, that is the reason why. But with that being said, time to get started converting a bunch of sandstone into smooth sandstone. Here we go. I ended up adding a few more furnaces and a few more cauldrons down here just to get this process even more efficient. But another thing that I want to do to be as efficient as possible while this smelts, I also am going to be using a lot of mangrove wood in the hotel build, and currently I don't have very much mangrove wood at all. So what I'm going to do while that smelts, I'm going to use bone milled the wrong block. Like a dummy. That's okay. Alright, I am going to harvest a bunch of mangrove, which is going to be such a pain because mangrove is one of the most difficult things to mine and farm. But I've got all the time in the world while I have to wait for this in here to smelt, and we've still got a lot of smelting left to do. So I'm gonna hop into a time lapse while I bone meal and chop down a bunch of mangrove trees. Hey, where'd you come from? Get in the boat. You can't be in here. His wavy flailing arms. That's one of the Fresh Animations movements, is Endermen get little goofy waving flailing arms, so that's fun. Oh, no Ender Pearl. Boo! Alright, and let's take a look at what we've got. This is completely full. This is over halfway full. And I'm saving some sandstone and some sand because I'll incorporate some of that into my builds as well. But I think this is enough for now. I'm still going to need a little bit more mangrove. I've got 3 full stacks plus these 4 extras. And many people may be aware that harvesting mangrove wood is a pain. It is not enjoyable at all. And I'm not looking forward to harvesting. Luckily, I don't need a ton of mangrove, just a little bit, but I'm going to be using mangrove as kind of the accent color, similar to how I used acacia on this build. I used a lot of white with acacia to stand out. The hotel is going to be primarily smooth sandstone, and then mangrove is going to be the accent color. So I need a little bit more mangrove, but not nearly as much as I needed sandstone. So I'm going to just continue chopping away at mangrove trees until I have got what I need. I went ahead and started moving chests out to this area since this is where I'm going to be building my hotel. So over here I've got my chests filled with the smooth sandstone and sandstone. I've got all my sand in here. Back at the house I am smelting a bunch of sand into glass as well since I'll be using glass in this build. I'm also going to be using a lot of polished granite, and luckily I had plenty of granite on hand from all of the mining that I've recently been doing, so I have plenty of polished granite. This is just some remnants from when I was visiting the desert, and then this is all my mangrove logs, and then these are all of the remnants of when I took out this giant chunk of land right here. So I've got some resources, but I have a material list that I got from Lightmatica from when I built the creative version of my hotel, so I know all of the materials that I need. Now comes the part where I just have to run around gathering resources, and then once I've got all the resources, it's time to get started building. So I'm going to go ahead now and jump into a montage of me doing that. Alright, that was a fun little 2-minute montage of putting this hotel together. So, quick view from the outside. I'm going to hop into FreeCam so I can show you kind of multiple angles. Up on the rooftop, I built these solar panels that were actually kind of inspired from a YouTuber named Sluda Builds. They have a video where they create a Solarpunk city, which I took a lot of inspiration from. I actually bought and downloaded their world for that video so that I could kind of explore it and get some inspiration. So that's where these solar panels came from, was inspired by Sluda Builds, and then I just put some random things on the rooftop to kind of make it look, you know, kind of commercial. We've got an antenna up here, we've got the water tower. I don't know what these things are supposed to be, they just kind of looked techy. And then big AC unit here. And then up here, we've got some carrots, which we'll get into that later. Little booths and things like that. I put a bunch of plants just because this is Solarpunk, so you want to make sure you've got plants. We circle around back and we've got this little dumpster here. We've got a swimming pool with a hot tub. We've got this little outdoor seating area. And then this is more just added decor, not really meant to do anything, but just kind of looks neat. With smooth sandstone, I was having trouble finding textures that would really work for shading. You know how over here with my original house I used snow and diorite and calcite and things like that. Over here, I was having trouble finding anything besides just sand and sandstone. So as a way to incorporate some texture into the build, I used stairs to kind of create these little slots right here. And I thought that that was a good alternative since I was having trouble finding different color blocks to add to the texturing. I think that, you know, maybe some end stone could look good in there, but since I have not been to the end, I don't have end stone, so that's going to be a while. And now, before we actually take a tour of the inside of this build, I want to get the villagers moved in. That way, once we go inside and start taking a tour of the inside, it'll have some life to it. We'll see villagers running around. Right now, with it being empty, it just seems kind of dead. So before I give that tour, I wanted to come grab some villagers. For whatever reason that I don't fully understand, the villagers are all up here, and I think there's more over here maybe. Yeah, I don't know how this happened, but the villagers all ended up on the cliffside over here and over here. Don't know why they did that, but I'm going to find a way to get them from here over to here. And I think what I'm actually going to do is just build a dirt bridge that bridges all the way over here, put them in boats, and then put the boats on leads. And as long as I'm hovering high above the world, I should be able to just carry them across. I don't know for sure if that'll work, but I'm going to give that a try. So I'm going to get started by building that dirt bridge, and then I'll be right back after I build the dirt bridge to start trying to load them into boats and see if I can make this work. Okay, so I've built my bridge now, and as you can see, it goes all the way back to my hotel over there. So now I just need to get these guys into boats, and then once they're in boats, I can put them on a lead and get them over. So come on over this way. And anyone who's worked with villagers is aware of how insanely difficult they are to work with. Okay, so there's one villager, or one boat with two villagers. Let's put you there. Come on over. There we go. So there's two. And I don't have any more boats left, so I'm going to have to go get another boat for this guy. And I got to get my leads. I forgot about that. And so after I grabbed my leads, I ran back and got the remainder of the villagers loaded up into boats. I hooked them onto leads and hopped up on the sky bridge with the villagers dangling below as I tiptoed my way across over to the hotel. Alright, so that's all the villagers that were up on the cliffside, but I do still have to go get those few stragglers that remained in the village, plus the ones that are hanging out around my house here. So I'm going to go catch them in boats as well and do the same thing, put them in a boat, put them on a lead, and haul them back to the hotel. And then I will check back in shortly once all of the villagers have been relocated, and I will give everyone a tour of the new hotel. Okay, I've taken down the dirt bridge. I've got all of the villagers that I could find. If there are any stragglers back there, then they are very good at hiding, and it is time to destroy all their boats and give you the tour of the hotel. As you can see, I utilized a system that I've used previously where I've got the sweet bushberry here and put moss over it because mobs cannot walk over that. So this kind of makes sure that the villagers don't leave and also makes sure that zombies can't get in. I did the same thing if we come over here. This outdoor little patio area I made sure to surround with the sweetberry bushes as well, just to make sure that the hotel is safe for the villagers. They can't run away and mobs can't get to them. But let's go ahead and start destroying these boats. Alright, the villagers are free and roaming the hotel. It is now time to give everyone the grand tour. So when we first walk in, we've got the little reception area here. Got some lecterns. I tried to place a lot of job sites so that the villagers can, have jobs while they're here working at the hotel. So got some lecterns here. Over here we've got a little dining area with a little kitchenette type setup. I know this isn't what you would normally see in a hotel. They're not going to have a full, cooking setup, but this is a different kind of hotel, and at this hotel, they do. We've got some sea pickles. I just thought those were fun little things, look kind of like cups or, I don't know, snacks of some sort. Got cauldron here for a sink, refrigerator, things like that. So yeah, this is just an area where the villagers can come to, eat, enjoy a meal. I tried to make each bedroom a little bit unique in one way or another. Each bedroom has 2 beds total, so if we take a peek, there's beds in each one, and then I tried to add decorations to each to make them a little unique. So, this one's got a potted plant with the cherry tree. This one's got a sofa. This is just a spare room that I didn't do anything with. If we go upstairs, which I don't think that the villagers have discovered that there's an upstairs yet in here. This one's got kind of a little booth, a little miniature booth with a azalea tree. This one has got a little thing with candles, which I need to light those. I just need to get a flint and steel in order to do that. And so yeah, each room I tried to make just a little bit unique. If we come over here, I made kind of a little bar area. Oh, do we have a... I guess they still haven't discovered the upstairs. So we've got this little kind of bar cafe area. I just wanted it to kind of look, this is something you might see in a hotel, little coffee bar and little lounge area. This is kind of an atrium room. So if I come down to the bottom, I made this kind of big spiral staircase. Down here, we've got this little indoor pond area that I put some seagrass in, some green stained glass panes to kind of look like reeds sticking out of the water. I just thought this was a nice little kind of atrium indoor area, kind of peaceful and relaxing. And so we go up the spiral staircase. I just showed you the second floor a minute ago, so we will go up to the third floor now. Up here, I've got some waterlogged cobblestone slabs and some coral. Since the slabs are waterlogged, that means that the coral won't die and turn gray. And this is, somewhere out there, a iron golem is dying, and I don't know where or how. Oh, what are you doing there, friend? So it looks like they spawned an iron golem already. That's pretty cool. As I was saying, we've got this little, it's just kind of a conversation area. I didn't really have any thought on what this actually was, but just thought it was neat. A little rooftop bar area. So this is a nice bar. We've got some, drink stands here. Don't know what they're serving, but they've got something to drink in there. I used these brewing stands to kind of just, I don't know, look like something you might see at a bar. This is meant to kind of look like a towel like the bartender might use to wipe their hands with. Out here, we've got a little outdoor bar area, and then I put some campfires, because, that's always a cozy vibe when you're on a rooftop bar and they've got a campfire. This, probably not something you would see in the real world where you're at a hotel and the hotel room has a big open wall window like this looking out on a patio where there'd be people in the public. Not realistic to think that on one side of this wall there's going to be people sitting on a bonfire and then on the other side is someone in a hotel room. But this isn't the real world. This is Minecraft, and the villagers don't care about privacy, so it works. Now, about all these carrots, I kind of figured that I could use this hotel to double as a kind of makeshift villager breeder. I'm not necessarily looking for optimum efficiency villager breeder, but just kind of, if they decide to make some little baby villagers, then so be it. So I threw in some carrot farms, and to kind of make it make sense, it's got that kitchen area downstairs. So this is the type of hotel where it's almost like a bed and breakfast. They grow their own crops here, and then if you stay there, then they'll use their own crops that they grew themselves to... Oh, looks like he finally found his way up to the third floor. Good for you, buddy. But yeah, they use the crops that they grow here to... then, feed their guests. So you go to the little diner in the first floor and you could have some farm-to-table crops turned into a meal for you. But really, the main reason for this is just so that the villagers can breed while they're here. Down here, I left this a big open green space. My plan is to make this kind of another atrium type thing where it's an indoor... planted area. Maybe I'll build a tree here, some sort of just small little microbiome. And each floor, hello, let me go back down to the next floor down. Out here we've got just another little outdoor seating area. Oh, a cat's already spawned. That's pretty cool. We can overlook it from here. I've got even more carrots, and again, just a kind of give them opportunity to breed. And then if we come down here, this is the bottom floor, so I'll probably put, I don't know, a garden or a little microbiome, something like that, but I just thought this was kind of a neat space to have some more green space on the inside. This is kind of a little cozy reading nook area of the hotel. There's bookshelves, little seats so that people can relax, read a book, maybe grab a magazine. This is just meant to be kind of like a statue. You know, sometimes when you're at a hotel, they've got statues. We've got a fountain here, and it looks like these villagers really like this little cooking area. We need to help these farmers find the little carrot crops upstairs, but hopefully they find it on their own naturally. So yeah, then that I know that the jack-o'-lanterns are not the most aesthetic light source. I will replace them at some point, but right now these are the only block form of light sources that I have. I don't yet have, you know, frog lights or sea lanterns or glowstone, anything like that. So I just had to use what I have, and right now what I have is jack-o'-lanterns, and at some point I will replace those with the better looking, probably frog lights, maybe sea lanterns, I don't know. And then out here we've got a little pool deck area. So I just put a bunch of little tables around here, and then over here we've got a swimming pool. I made a little hot tub. Down underneath here we've got some campfires to make it look like steam coming out of the hot tub. I thought that was a nice little touch. And there are still a few more touches that I want to do in this outdoor area, but I thought it would be fun to do these on camera. So I'm going to go grab some of the resources that I need and do a few more of the neat little touches. Oh, that's not a good thing. I just realized that this gives the villagers a way they can escape, so I'm going to need to address that, actually. That is no good. I guess I could just make this a double high wall, and that'll be enough to keep them in. But as it stands right now, if they wanted to, the villagers could escape through here, and I don't want to give them the chance to do that. So I am going to raise this one taller and grab a few more resources to work out some more of the other little finishing touches that I wanted to add. And it looks like we got some librarians here. Do they have anything? Punch, blast protection, and projectile protection. Not that great. This area I used a bunch of glowberries with string to kind of make their growth stop, and I really want these farmers to oh, did you get stuck down there? I don't know if there's anything I can do for you, bud. You're stuck. But yeah, I want these farmers to discover the carrot patches back there, so we'll need to work on that. But anyway, I'm going to go get some resources to add some finishing touches that I want to do on camera, and I will be back shortly. Alright, I'm back, and I rebuilt this wall a little bit taller. I know that a player can, you know, from a trapdoor here, jump over it. I don't think that the villagers' AI will allow them to do it. I'm not 100% certain, but I think since there's that little gap right here, I think that's enough that it should keep the villagers contained. I guess we'll find out in time, but, you know, they can't jump from here, so I guess we'll just wait and see. But I got some resources, and let me show you what I have in mind. So there's a trick that I like to do. I've seen a lot of people do this on YouTube, but I haven't seen a ton of people explain the process. It actually took me a while to figure out how people do this. So I'm going to put that there. It's not possible to make a carpet hover. Or is it? What I can do is put one carpet there, and since there's a grass block there, it will allow me to place a carpet here. If I come underneath, what I can do is put a button on the bottom side of that, and it will replace the grass. So the grass is gone, now the button is there. Now normally, if I had two carpets like this, if I delete that one, that first one would go away. But because that button is there, that button is keeping it alive. So I can add another one here, and do that button trick again. There's a button there, and now if I delete these dirt blocks, I've got myself a little diving board, and it does have those buttons on bottom, so you know, some people can see that, but either way, I think that's a fun trick because the carpet is even thinner than a trapdoor. You could, you know, make this out of a trapdoor, but I think it's fun to do it with the carpet. It's a neat little trick using the dirt block, the grass, the buttons. I've seen people build with that, but I haven't seen a ton of people explain how that process works, so I thought it would be kind of fun to do that on camera so people could see that little trick. And then I'm also going to use that same trick to make some umbrellas in this little outdoor area here. And I might need my scaffolding. Let's see. We'll put one. Actually, no, that's a good height for the umbrellas. So I am not able to put a carpet here normally, but, oh, and I guess I need to go get more grass. Oops, let me go grab grass and I'll be right back. All right, I am back with grass now. Put grass on all of those. And then, so I put a carpet there, and then I put a carpet here, I put a carpet here, and I put a carpet here. And this time I'll use red, so I put that there, 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 and there. And then on the bottom side, let's see, the red carpet looks best with the mangrove button, and the white looks best with pale oak. So I put that there, I put that there, I put that there, that, and then we come to the other side here. We put that there, and that there, and then I delete these, and I can put the trapdoors back now, get my scaffolding back, and we've got ourselves a little umbrella. And I actually don't love that bamboo slab, but that's easy to replace. So I'll probably replace that with either pale oak or mangrove to kind of fit it in with the umbrella. But so I used that carpet trick to build this neat little diving board and this umbrella. I'm going to make a couple more umbrellas around here, and I'm going to make some in yellow, some in red, and I just thought that was a neat little trick. So I'm going to build a couple more umbrellas, and then I've got one more neat thing that I wanted to build on camera that I thought would be fun to build on camera for everyone to see. So I'm going to build these umbrellas, and then I'll be back to build the next fun project. All right, so now we've got a little pink umbrella, a red umbrella, and a yellow umbrella. And I used some pale oak slabs for the middle portion because I think the white looks a little nicer. So yeah, I just think this is a neat little trick that you could do with carpet that some people know about, but many people might not know about, and I thought it'd be fun to show. It's just kind of a neat little symbiotic relationship that this button and this carpet have. The button can only exist with the carpet can only exist with the button. If you take one away, then the other goes away as well, and it's just a fun little building hack that I wanted to show. Now the other thing that I want to do is, if I can get over my fence here, right up here, I am going to build some scaffolding, work my way up here. Let's see, I want to take out the middle piece and replace it with this and this. And then that, actually I want it to face the other way, so I don't have any full blocks. Can I put this there? And then grab that, and will this go there? It will. Cool. So let me take this back. This is another neat trick that I also saw from Sluta Builds, who I mentioned earlier was where I got the inspiration for those solar panels. I'm going to make a little fan type setup here. And so if you put these walls here and then you put glass next to it, then it kind of makes this part that sticks out like this. And then it does the same thing up here. So it looks almost like it's kind of slanted. It's not actually, but it kind of looks like that. And then if I come over here, I'm going to put that there and that there and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to put a trapdoor there and a trapdoor there and there. And so the colors aren't a perfect match, but it looks close enough, especially if you go back a distance. If I come back here now, it kind of looks like a fan, and then, you've got the iron grate. So this is another one of those things where I can't tell you what the actual functionality would be. It's more so just to be kind of a neat decorative item. So yeah, I've got a little fan up here that just meant for decoration. I don't know what functional purpose it would serve for the hotel. And man, cats are spawning everywhere around here. Now, let's go back around to the front side here and take a look at how things are going in the hotel. It looks like the villagers are starting to adjust. They seem to like this kitchen area. He's just standing here staring down at the stovetop there. I don't know why they're all really congregating in this corner. I don't know what's over here that they're into, but they really like this corner here. But yeah, I think that the hotel came along pretty nicely. I would say I am not a person who necessarily prides myself in my ability to do interior decorating. This could definitely use some improvements. I am not a great interior decorator, but for now it looks good. I think I can definitely improve upon it and make it look better, especially as the game goes on and I start unlocking more blocks from the nether and from the end. And, once I've got silk touch and things like that to get more blocks varieties, then I think I can make it look better in here. But I'm pretty satisfied with how it looks for right now. I was just running through the hotel, making sure that everything was looking all right, and looks like they've... Oh, hello, Iron Golem. It looks like they've already got their first little baby villager, so it looks like the villager breeding is in full swing. And like I mentioned, that's not the primary goal for this hotel. It's more so just a secondary function that it serves as a impromptu villager breeder, but I'm not looking for it to be optimal efficiency. You see people talk about, like, I can make a villager breeder that makes this many villagers per hour. I'm not looking for that. I just wanted something that it can create villagers, but that's not its primary purpose. And then looks like we got a leather. Ooh, you need some health, my friend. Once I get to the nether and can get nether wart, I'll start brewing up some healing potions that I can splash upon them. But I think that the hotel's looking really good. The only thing that I really have left to do... Oh, I missed the water. Oops. The only thing that I really have left to do at this point, I would say, other than sprucing up the interior in time, which that's not going to be anytime soon, but in the future I'll spruce up the interior. Out here, so I still have these two pillagers in here. If anyone recalls, I captured them in here, and I sat in the boat with them, waiting until they eventually broke their crossbow. Some of the more observant viewers may recall that there were originally there were actually originally 4, and then one of them died as I was trying to capture them. But then I captured 3 of them. Unfortunately, I forgot to light up the insides of their little chambers here, and when I went back for one of them, when I opened up the wall, a creeper had gotten in there, and the creeper exploded, and I did not die, but the pillager died. So now I only have 2 pillagers. I need to get those guys relocated because they're kind of an eyesore in this area, and I just need to do some exterior landscaping and decorating, make it look nice on the outside, and I would like to connect it with my base over there, maybe put a little road that runs through here, decorate it really nice, and I think that's what my next episode is going to be. You may also have noticed that I still have not done the interior of my house over here. As I mentioned earlier, I am not someone who considers myself a interior Minecraft person. My interiors are not that great, but it is an important part of the game, so I need to work on it. And so in the next episode, I think I'm going to work on the interior of my house, and then I'm also going to build a road that connects over here and work on the exterior of this and the interior of my house and start getting this area looking nice. That way I can begin the next phase, which is going to be destroying that village over there and rebuilding all of these villagers a new village that I think they will be very excited to live in. So that'll be in the next episode. I'll be working on this landscaping, doing some interior decorating, and I think that's all for this episode. Thank you so much to everyone who watched this video up to this point, and also to everyone who watched my previous videos, everyone who's liked and commented and engaged with my videos. I really truly appreciate it. If you want to leave comments on this video, let me know your thoughts if you have any suggestions, or just want to let me know what you think of it. And if you want to like and subscribe, that would really mean a lot to me as well. I truly do appreciate all of you. to wrap up this episode, I think I'm going to play a little bit of an extended montage just showing different angles of my hotel, just because I feel like up to this point when I was giving a hotel tour, there are still lots of areas that I didn't really show in depth. So in case anyone wants to watch the montage and just kind of see the hotel from different angles, I'm just going to throw on some lo-fi beats and show a nice little extended replay scene. But I think that that's about all I have to say for this episode. So again, thank you so much everyone. If you like this, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.